Hey guys, what is priapism? What does priapism have to do with sickle cell trait? What does priapism have to do with sickle cell? Okay, 50% of people with the sickle cell disease have either experienced or will experience priapism. Okay, it's very painful, and I'm going to read it to you. Priapism is a prolonged erection of the penis. The full or partial erection continues hours beyond, and it isn't caused by sexual stimulation. Okay, so 50% of males who have the sickle cell disease will experience in their lifetime, 50% will experience priapism, which is super painful. Okay, the regular general world experience priapism 0.7%. Out of the world, out of the whole world, 0.7% of people will ever experience priapism. If you have the sickle cell disease, 50% of guys will experience that. Sickle cell trait, that's why I'm talking to you. Sickle cell trait, we can do this. We can knock this. There's 300,000 babies born every year with the sickle cell disease. We can knock that number down. We can slash that number up by our knowledge, by us spreading the knowledge. We can do it. We can stop having so many sickle cell babies if we was more knowledgeable. We just don't. What we don't know is what we don't know. Why do we need to know? Priapism is super painful. My son, well, that was his first sickle cell crisis. Okay, I am a mother of 4. He was my 3rd. Okay, I didn't know I had a trait. Didn't even know what a trait was. Didn't even know what sickle cell was. Ain't never heard of sickle cell. Not no sickle cell class, not no sickle cell, nothing. Ain't never heard of sickle cell disease in my life. Okay? They told me my baby tested positive for sickle cell disease. They never tested me. I guess I had him, so I guess they knew I had the trait. All I know is I had this little bitty baby at 2 months old. I had just went back to work, and he was just crying like crazy. So I'm like, pass you on to your father. I done did the boop. I done did the bottle. I done did the burp. I done everything. I am to exhaustion. I have to go to exhaustion. I have to go to work in the morning. So I passed him on to his father. Okay. And as I passed him on to my husband and I turned over, I'm like, I gotta get some shut eye. I don't know what's wrong with him, but I'm so tired. And when I turned over to lay down just to get a little bit of sleep, something about his cry that I didn't hear when I had him this close to me. It was something about his cry was different when I heard him when he was with his father. And I was like, something about that cry don't sound right. It's not sitting right with me. So I get up and I'm looking at my husband like, did you yank him? What you do? Why his cry sound different? Why his cry sound different, right? So I'm looking at him and my husband just talking to him like, what's up? You giving your mama a hard time, whatever. And he just, and he's just crying. And so he's like, no, go lay down. I got him. And I went back and I laid down and I'm just like, something don't sound right. So I got back up and I called the pediatrician. And she was like, well, he's only 2 months, everything should be good, Did you burp? Did you do A? Did you do B? What did you eat today? And I told her I'm just going back to work. So we transitioned between bottle and milk and just having a combo. And something in my brain, I don't know if it's between 4 hours or 5 hours, I don't remember. But I know I didn't feel comfortable going to work. Because at this point, he had been off and on crying for hours. Like he hadn't really had a sleep. It was just he would stop crying just long enough to just realize that he wasn't crying to cry back. And I was like, we gotta take this baby to the ER. The ER was maybe a little bit over an hour away from where we stayed. The ER that I knew that specialized in sickle cell disease. Because like I told you, we don't know anything about sickle cell disease. So we got in a car and we drove an hour away to take this crying baby to the hospital because I'm not a professional, but I am a mother and something's wrong with this baby. So I get to the ER and I'm like, and I see all these sick kids. And so I told her, like, I hate that I'm here and I apologize. And I'm just discombobulated. I'm like, he doesn't have a fever, he doesn't have diarrhea, he's not throwing up. I say, but something's wrong with him. I'm just trying to explain to her, like, I know this is not the typical ER visit. I don't know how I'm going to be in line, but this is what's going on. And all of a sudden, my baby stopped crying. He went, and we looked down at him, and he's no longer crying. He's going, there's no tear, there's no voice left. I didn't even realize it, but his voice was slowly going out. And at this point, this baby had no voice. He just had tears. And the ER lady was like, the hell? And she took him to that back and triaged him. And I don't remember if they found it in the triage room or when the doctor came in, but that's when we found out about the priapism and the sickle cell. And they explained to me that's why. But by then, by that night, I think it was, his hands and his feet had swollen. So now we have his hands and feet, and he had priapism. So he's crying like this because he can't move his hands because they're so swollen, and he can't move his feet, and his pee is just, I have no diaper on because it's hurting us to put a diaper. And he's only 2 months, mind you, so he's peeing everywhere when he got to pee because we can't put him on a diaper on him like that. And he's not eating, of course. I mean, I could be more dramatic, and I'm trying not to because I don't want to cry. That's why I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can keep it. But I'm trying to explain to you the dramaticness, how dramatic it is for the child. How painful it is for the child. Hell, it was painful for me, and I'm watching. Sickle cell disease isn't a walk in a park. It isn't, I just want to have kids. No, it's sickle cell disease is hard. It's not something. Sickle cell disease is a hard disease to give. A hard disease. It's very, very, very painful. And I just want to get everybody aware how painful sickle cell disease is, because maybe if we're aware of how painful sickle cell disease is, maybe my sickle cell people, I need everybody to get tested, because you are important. You are my key. You are the key. You are the key to changing the 300,000 babies that's born every year.